Hey guys, it's Robyn, your independent Scentsy consultant. Welcome back and welcome if you're new. Today I have got warm reviews of the Scentsy Holiday Bricks. Now every holiday season Scentsy offers a set of bricks. Bricks are very, very large wax bars. These particular Christmas tree ones are a little over 5 regular Scentsy bars, so you're getting a ton of wax for the price. So I did do cold sniffs of these bricks about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago on my channel here. You can go back and watch those if you're interested to see what I thought at first sniff. I have warmed all these now, I've made samples, they've gone out, so I have had a lot of experience now with these scents. So I've warmed them in my home, I've made samples and hovered over them as I made samples for a long period of time. So I'm very familiar now with what these scents are like on warm. And so I've got some thoughts. And I will say for a couple of these my opinions changed on warm, and for a lot of them they didn't change this time. So I'll let you know what happened here. So first of all, the details here. These are launching Monday, October 14th at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is 1 p.m. Eastern. These are going to be available while supplies last, and you can purchase these bricks and the bundles with host rewards. So if you have a party going right now, you can use your party rewards to purchase bricks either in bundles or individually. So the pricing information on these, they are going to be $24 US each or $32 each Canadian, or you can bundle 2. Now for the 2-pack bundle, you can either get 2 of the same or 2 different ones, whichever you prefer. But you can get 2 bricks for $40 US or $53 Canadian. So you're saving a bit of money there if you do that. Or you can purchase a 5-brick bundle where you get 1 of each of the 5 scents for $132 Canadian or $100 US. And that gives you 1 of each. So that is the purchasing options here. And again, those bricks and the bundles are all eligible for your party reward as well. If you have a half off item for your party rewards, you could get a 2-brick bundle for like $20 US and get 2 of these for $20 with party rewards, which is a steal of a deal. Okay, that is the detail stuff. Now on to how these performed on warm in my house. Now again, disclaimer, your house is probably going to be different. My house is fairly small. It's cold where I live now. The heat hasn't been on a whole ton just yet, but the windows have been closed, so it's kind of ideal warming season here because the furnace isn't going, the windows are closed, there's not a whole lot of airflow in my home right now. So that does tend to lead to good wax performance all around. So if you have a very large home or a lot of air circulation happening in your home right now, your mileage may vary. So the first one we have here is one that I was probably the least sure about on cold. This is Butterscotch Brittle. So I did this one in my bedroom. I did 1 cube cut in half in my bedroom. Now the notes on Butterscotch Brittle are: a sprinkle of crushed peppermint brings a festive flair to decadent butterscotch, buttery caramel, and creamy vanilla. So we have peppermint, butterscotch, caramel, and vanilla. Now this one I was a little afraid of on cold because there's almost like a dustiness here, I think from the mint, and it kind of leaned like it could go cigarette on warm, and I'm happy to report it did not. So this is a very cinnamon, I would say there's quite a bit of cinnamon here. Like I get a lot of cinnamon. It smells a little bit like Scary Good to my nose, but with a good hefty dose of peppermint as well. Now, this one did change probably the most on warm, I would say. This one was quite a bit different on warm, and I really liked it. So this one, when it was warming, the mint came out hard at first. The mint then kind of tapered off quite quickly, and what you were left with was a much more creamy caramel butterscotch type scent with a hefty dose of cinnamon. This one was very strong. It was stronger than I expected it to be. In the bedroom, this was, I would say, like an 8 out of 10 strength. It was very, very strong. It wasn't super long lasting though. So again, my 1 cube split into 2 warmers. It was, I would say, again, an 8 out of 10 in strength, and it went for maybe 18 hours, and then it kind of really hit a wall and just died. So when it died, but it did last about 18 hours, which is just a little bit less than average, but the strength was better than average. So I would say this one is a little bit of a trade-off. You got really good throw for a while, but it was just a little bit less strong than average, or a little bit less long lasting than average. It was stronger than average. So this one I would say was a kind of trade-off for performance. Overall though, performance I think was good because it was very strong. Yeah, I liked it. I would say again, it went through stages in that the first bit was really hefty mint, and then the mint kind of tapered off within a few hours. And a lot of that, when they say buttery in the description, buttery is kind of the word that came to mind with that caramel and the butterscotch notes in there. It was a very smooth, caramely, rich, round scent. The spice was smooth, but it was definitely noticeable, especially for that first probably 8 to 10 hours. The spice was very apparent, and then it kind of, again, kind of mellowed out and kind of meshed together better. But this was a I think you do have to like mint, and I think you do have to like spice. But this was very, very good. And I would do this in bedrooms. I would do this in open layout very well as well. The scent, I think, is versatile enough that it can be warmed probably anywhere in your house. Maybe not bathrooms, but anywhere else I think would be fine. And actually even bathrooms would probably be okay because of the mint. So I think this is very versatile. Yeah. At no point did I get cigarette smoke from this, like I was afraid I would. So that was good. So overall, is this a club bar for me? No. Is this a repurchase? I will probably get like a one-time club shipment with a few regular size bars of this. And that is one thing to note too. If you don't want to commit to an entire brick, what you can do, if you don't want the big bricks, is if you go into club after October 14th when these are available, go into Scentsy Club, either your existing Scentsy Club or start a new one. You can actually just throw these into your club. And if you have them in your club, they're not going to send you the big ones because they don't send these in club as the big bricks. They make regular size Scentsy bars out of them. So if you want to try them in regular bar size, add the scents to your Scentsy Club. You will get regular size bars that you can then sniff and melt and decide if you like them. And then you can either keep them in your club or cancel the club and then just purchase full-size bricks of the ones you want to get more of if you want to. So that is one little hack, I guess, if you want to try regular size bars of these without committing to the big ones. So this one, I probably won't get another full brick, but I will get a couple bars of this for sure. Really liked Butterscotch Brittle. And this one also did seem kind of festive to me. Like this one did have like real holiday vibes. It felt very kind of Christmassy and wintry. I really did enjoy this one. So Butterscotch Brittle gets a thumb up from me. Next one here we have is Warm Winter Night, which is the teal one. This one was one of my favorites on cold. This was Curl Up with Hearty Bourbon, sweetened with a dash of citrus and brown sugar. So bourbon, citrus, and brown sugar. This one smells like so much more than that on cold. Like I get like almost like a bergamot. I get like an apple cider type note, like an apple pie filling. I definitely get the brown sugar. There's also something almost like a little bit cologne-y or like perfumey here. It's very, very pretty. Now on warm, I did this in the open layout. I did 2 cubes among 4 warmers, split in half here. So I think one of 2 things is true here. Either I needed to use more wax, which could be, or this is not strong enough for an open layout. Because what I found was I got maybe like a 2.5 to 3 intensity. It was very, very light and not very long lasting. So I would say small spaces only, or use a lot more wax. Now on cold, this does smell fairly, fairly strong. And I do think if I did this in a smaller room, like a bedroom, this would have done much better. But I think for the open layout, it's kind of a hard to pin down scent. I would say it's hard to describe. Now, a friend of mine was saying that he gets like pineapple from this. Now, I can't say I get pineapple, but I think I see what he means. Yeah, I could see it. It's almost like a brown sugar pineapple, maybe. Like I'm getting fruit and brown sugar. Juicy sweetness. Like it is very, very nice. It needs a little more, it's hard to pin down. Like it's got some perfumey elements. It's got some fruity sweet elements. It's got some bakery elements. It is hard to pin down. And so I think that is part of the issue with it in a large space like my open layout, is that because it's hard to pin down, it kind of gets lost in the space. I think in a smaller space or with more wax, it would do better. But for this one, I would say try it in small spaces first before you go putting it in large spaces, because for me, it did not throw very well at all in my open layout. And so I'm gonna kind of reserve this one for smaller spaces. This one, if it does well in smaller spaces, will be a club bar for me. It's very, very nice. So there is that one. Again, way less than average strength and way less than average longevity. So overall, this one was a poor performer in my home, at least in the open layout. So I will work with it more in the smaller rooms and see what happens. Next up, we had my very, very favorite. I went crazy for this scent. This was Wrapped in Lights, and this one is Sparkling Lemon, Pomegranate, and Mulled Spices. Now this one is Christmas in a bar. It's Christmas 1995. That is what this is. It's so good. Oh, it's so good. Okay. This one, you do get like a juicy, bright pomegranate. I would also say there's definitely cranberry here, like a juicy, bright cranberry. Like I would bet money on it. Lemon is here as well. I'm also getting cinnamon, like a very traditional cinnamon, which I guess is probably the mulled spices. Now this one went through phases. So what I did with this one was the little end cube here, which is about 2 cubes of wax, I would say probably for the end cube here. I did that in my office. This went for days, like 3-4 days. This went for ages, and it went through several different stages along the way. The first stage was what you smell is what you get. The first day was exactly what you smell in the package here, Christmas 1995. It was so good. Yes, you got the kind of bright fruity notes, you got a little bit of the spice there in the background, and you got the nice bright lemon as well. So good. Day 2 and into day 3, 4, the fruity cranberry pomegranate note was gone, and the mulling spices started to really come forward. So this was still, and there's almost like a hint of tree here. Like not obvious, but I would say there's like a hint of pine here somewhere. It reminds me a little bit of Be Merry, but this has like spice to it where Be Merry does not. Yeah, it's really good. But yeah, by day 2 and 3, I got a little bit more tree and definitely a lot more of the mulling spices. Now the mulling spices reminded me of a little bit of Christmas cottage, like that cinnamon note, that kind of like cinnamon stick, like red hot cinnamon note. I wouldn't say it was bakery cinnamon. It was more like a red hot cinnamon, but so Christmassy, like so Christmassy. This was so good. So yes, I would say starts out very fruity, very bright, and then kind of deepens and richens into more of a spice type scent with a little bit of tree towards the end. But all the way through, this was very lovely. I loved every stage of it. This is going to be a forever club bar for me, I think. This is just classic Christmas. This is a great Christmas Day scent, Christmas Eve scent. This is a great, like, just die-hard Christmas scent. So Wrapped in Lights, I really loved, and performance on this was much better than average. Strength, I would say 6 or 7 out of 10. So better than average strength, and longevity, much better than average. Average was like 24 hours in my house. This went 3 or 4 days. So very impressed with the performance of Wrapped in Lights. And like I said, that one is going to be a club bar for me. I love it. Next up, we have Christmas Tree. This is the pine tree one of the bunch. This one is fresh air and pine needles swirl through a pine wood forest. Now the workstation article I'm referring to here says that these are all 5 brand new scents, but Orville was saying in the end of month live that Christmas Tree is actually a returning scent from back in the day with Scentsy. So Christmas Tree, if you were with Scentsy many years ago, they apparently had a scent called Christmas Tree, and this is the one. So if you missed that one, this is it, the Christmas Tree brick. So again, fresh air, pine wood, and what did they say? Pine needles and pine wood. Okay. Got myself in the head. Yeah, this is very nice. As far as tree scents go, and I am not a tree scent person, this was very nice. It is a nice Christmas tree scent. I do get the fresh air. The fresh air is a sweet fresh air. It's not a minty or eucalyptus heavy fresh air, which sometimes fresh air notes are. This is just a sweet, cool fresh air. Yeah, the pine wood came out a lot more on warm, and something about this, when this was on warm, something, maybe it was the pine wood, something in here, and I don't smell it at all on cold, but something on warm here reminded me a little bit of either caramel chestnut or cinnamon woods. Cinnamon woods is the Harvest Collection bar. Caramel chestnut was a brick a few years ago. There was a note, a kind of toasty, warm, woodsy note that I think was the pine wood that came out on warm that reminded me of kind of the toasty, warm wood note in cinnamon woods. And again, I don't smell it at all on cold, but on warm I definitely did, especially after like the 6-hour mark or so. And this one too also went a good solid 2 days in my office. I did I did a small amount. I had like a half cube. It was like a half of this guy right here. So probably the equivalent of like 1 cube of Scentsy wax. Went a good solid 2 days in my office, and I would say like a medium strength. So I think you can go easy with Christmas Tree, and I think this would be very open layout worthy if you have a large space to scent. It was very good. The pine needles started out a little bit sharp at the very beginning, but again, they smoothed out quickly. It was a nice pine tree scent. You had the little bit of sweet fresh air, and then this really warm, rich, woodsy tone at the base. And I just really enjoyed it. And it was almost like a Christmas tree with a fireplace in the room. Like you walked in and you almost smell like embers or a fireplace or something like that, in addition to the pine tree. So I really liked that it had more than just the one thing going on. It wasn't just pine. It was almost like an entire mood setting scent with like the fireplace and the tree and the fresh air. It was just really, really nice. Yeah, I'm not a pine tree scent person. If very snowy spruce is too much for you and just too much pine tree, you might be okay with Christmas tree, especially if you mix this. This one with Wrapped in Lights would be fantastic. Yeah, I think you could mix this with the next one too, Salted Caramel Cider, and that would be fantastic. But yeah, I like this. Is it what I would get more of? No, because I'm just not a person that reaches for tree scents a whole lot. Am I going to get through the rest of this brick? Yeah, I probably will quite happily, because I think there's a lot I can do with this one. And I really liked the woodsy base here. Like that, the pine wood is what they're calling it, but it's whatever note created that kind of warm ember scent. I really enjoyed. And I didn't expect that at all because I don't smell it at all on cold. But yeah, there was definitely something very similar to cinnamon woods or caramel chestnut in here, and I loved it. So Christmas tree gets thumbs up from me. That was a good one. And performance, again, better than average longevity, at least average strength, probably better because like I said, I used half the amount of wax I normally do in that room and it still went for 2 days at a pretty decent strength. So Christmas tree, good performer. I'm just noticing there's I can't tell if it's a spider or what on my wall there. His minutes are numbered here. It's that time of year, you know? It froze recently, so we're starting to see the bugs trying to come inside because they're all scrambling to avoid the snow and the frost and all of that good stuff. Okay, the last one we have here is my very favorite. This one is Salted Caramel Cider. This one is salted caramel and sweet vanilla bean add warmth and complexity to fresh pressed apple cider. So fresh apple cider, vanilla, and salted caramel. This one, oh, I cannot stop warming this. This is so good. So I did 2 cubes of this in my open layout, cut in half among warmers. Oh my gosh, I can't. This one is so good. This is a contender for one of my favorite things Scentsy has done this year, easily. This is probably the one. This is probably my favorite thing Scentsy's done this year. No, like I love this. This is going to be one where I buy another brick or two and add it to my club in multiples. Like this one I cannot get enough of, and I would melt this most of the year round. This one, Salted Caramel Cider. It has apple cider, it has caramel, and the caramel is salted. You can smell the salt. How does this compare to something like Caramel Apple Craze, which is also a apple caramel scent? This one is much heavier on the caramel, and you can also smell the salt, but this one has way more caramel. If you're thinking Caramel Apple Craze, I would say has a little bit more apple than caramel. This one is almost all caramel with just a little bit of apple, and it's kind of like a cidery apple here. As far as like spices in the cider, pretty minimal. Like there's a little bit of cidery spice here, but not a whole lot. Yeah, if you don't like spicy scents, I think you're gonna be fine. I wouldn't worry. This is fantastic. I do think you have to like caramel scents though. Oh, so good. Oh, I can't with this one, it's so good. So warm, it was pretty much what you smell is what you get. Like it didn't change much on warm. This one probably changed the least of the 5 on warm. What you smell is what you got. The one thing that I will say about this one is it was about a medium strength, like 5 out of 10, and it didn't last very long. So average strength, but it didn't last as long as I would have hoped. It was like less than 12 hours. I do think my open layout needs more than 2 cubes though, because when I did warm winter night, I did 2 cubes as well, and it didn't perform well either. So possibly I just need to make it 3 cubes, because I know when I used to use the old bricks, they were a larger, bigger shape. I would use 2 cubes in my open layout and that would be fine. But these bricks are a little bit more petite, and some of the cubes are shaped differently and different sizes. So I think I need a 3rd cube. So that may be my struggle. So these 2 performed less than average, but again, that could be user error because I might have used less wax than normal. Typically in my open layout, I'll use a full bar of Scentsy wax, and I don't think, now that I'm looking at it, I don't think 2 cubes of this is going to be equivalent to a full bar. I think 3 cubes might be. So I think what I need to do is use an extra cube. So yeah, this one, oh, so good. So I think I will have to give Salted Caramel Cider and Warm Winter Night another try with more wax and see if I can get better performance from them. But overall, performance was good. Again, the lightest of all was Warm Winter Night, and that could have been user error with not enough wax, but I do think this is probably going to be a smaller space scent. Caramel Apple Cider, I do think will be open layout worthy once I adjust the amount of wax. But Warm Winter Night was very light, like very, very light. Whereas this one was medium, even with the small amount of wax. in my open layout. This one was extremely light. So I think this one might just be a smaller space scent, warm winter night. But the rest, I think any of the other 4 are going to be fine for open layouts. Salted caramel cider, as far as like strength, if we're going to rate like strength and open layout worthiness, performance overall, just considering performance overall, lightest to strongest, and best longevity, like worst longevity to best longevity. The least strong performing bar of all of these 5 is warm winter night. I think that is going to be consistent even after I adjust the amount of wax. Next is going to be salted caramel cider, even after I adjust the amount of wax. This one will be respectable, but I don't think it's ever going to be a boomer or a super, super long laster. Next up here, we have Butterscotch Brittle. This was crazy strong. It just really petered out very quickly. So crazy strong, but it's here for a good time, not a long time. So Butterscotch Brittle, very open layout worthy, but don't expect it to last terribly long. Christmas Tree, this one did very, very well. I think this will be very, very open layout worthy and quite long lasting in most every space. So even if you have a hard to scent space, I think Christmas Tree will do it for you. And Wrapped in Lights, I think people are gonna love this. If you like those kind of classic holiday scents, this was very, very long lasting and quite strong as well. So Wrapped in Lights, I think in pretty much any space is gonna be just great. So that is the performers. And I don't know, as far as like scent preference, if we're gonna rank just scent preference and not performance, my ranking is going to be Christmas Tree, even though I really like it. I like this one more than I expected. Then we're gonna go Warm Winter Night. And this is changing quite a bit because my least favorite last time was Butterscotch Brittle. So Christmas Tree is going down a notch. Warm Winter Night is going down 2 notches because this one was up there for me. I really liked Warm Winter Night. And I actually think I might even put Christmas Tree above Warm Winter Night now. I might. Yeah, I think I will. I think I liked Christmas Tree better. And then Butterscotch Brittle is going right in the middle here. I quite liked Butterscotch Brittle this time. Like, this was very, very nice on warm. I liked that a lot. Wrapped in Lights is going in second, even though I love it. And then Salted Caramel Cider is probably like my favorite thing in the world. So that is going at the very, very top there in first place. Easy first. Now, one thing I will say is, as much as I love Salted Caramel Cider, some people have asked me if this is similar to like Bright Cider Life. I wouldn't say it's like super similar. I would say it's more similar to Caramel Apple Craze, but amp up the caramel by like 300% and add some salt. That's what I would say. I would say if you liked Bright Cider Life, you will probably like this because Bright Cider Life was a brown sugar, bakery, apple type scent with minimal spice. This is also a brown sugar caramely type scent with a little bit of apple and a teeny tiny hint of spice. So I wouldn't say they smell like one another, but I would say if you like one, you'll probably like the other. So that is caramel apple cider, salted caramel cider. The other thing I was gonna say, as much as I love this, my mom hates this. So I brought her over. I was gonna melt this for Thanksgiving dinner next weekend because in Canada, we have our Thanksgiving coming up next weekend. So I'm hosting and my family, well, I hope I'm hosting. My oven broke recently and I'm waiting for a part to fix it. So I hope the part comes in time and that it does fix my oven, because if it doesn't fix my oven, we are scrambling for Thanksgiving dinner. But in the meantime, I was gonna melt this for Thanksgiving and I let my mom sniff it and she hated it. Like, she was like, oh, that is the worst thing ever. It's terrible, it's musty, it's she thought it was absolutely awful. So again, that goes to show you noses differ, one nose to another. I think this is like the best thing I've smelled all year. She thought it was the worst thing she smelled in her life. So salted caramel cider is not for everyone, although I think it will be for most people. To be fair, my mom doesn't like most wax, so salted caramel cider I loved. But just be warned that everyone's nose is different. And in a nutshell, as much as I want to, I will not be warming salted caramel cider for Thanksgiving anymore. So hope that was helpful. I will talk to you in the next video. I would love to know in the comments below which one of these bricks you're most excited for. And if you have warmed these already because you're a consultant as well, let me know in the comments below how they perform in your house and what things were like in your home. I would love to know the differences because, like I said, every house is different. And that is one thing that's consistent. There's always going to be ones that perform great for me or terribly for me, and other people are going to say they did great for me or the opposite of my experience. So it depends on your house, depends on your nose, depends on the weather where you are, it depends on a lot of things. So let us know in the comments below how these do in your house as well so people can compare. Other than that, I'll talk to you in the next video. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.